everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting off the video by announcing the winner of the Christmas Party Product Showcase video, and that winner is Susie Q Martin 2746. Congratulations, Susie, you won a $50 gift card to Scrappy Tails. Again, thank you for everyone that left a comment and liked that video. My product showcase videos are always a labor of love. They often take 7 to 10 days of filming with my mom helping out, trying to give you guys as much inspiration with every new release that we bring out. So again, thank you for the participation and all the engagement. I really do appreciate it. So today we're going to be creating some ornaments using the Angel ornament and the North Star ornament die. I'll be creating 2 angels and 1 North Star. All 3 of them I use the same color scheme, so as a trio they look really pretty, especially if you have a white and blue Christmas tree. So I will actually give these ornaments to my mom because she has that color scheme on her tree. I have a more traditional red, green, and gold. So for TikTok, I actually made these same ornaments but in a red and gold color scheme. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok yet, definitely go do that. I do extra content there. I also post the videos over to Instagram too. So if you're looking for videos that are like less than 2 minutes long, they're really there to give you kind of a sneak peek of my longer video tutorials, but also they're a way to get very quick inspiration. So as you can see, I am using the snowflake background stencil, and through it I am blending tumbled glass distress oxide ink onto a light blue card panel. This is heavyweight, however, with this ornament it doesn't really matter what card weight you use. I will say if you use heavier weight, I feel like it's a little more sturdy and these ornaments will last a bit longer, but it's completely up to you. Like those red ornaments I actually didn't have any heavyweight red, so I ended up just using a lighter weight. So I did have to extend the pattern because I do need 2 skirts from this. So you can see I'm kind of maneuvering that die to see if I can get 2 pieces. And it doesn't cover the die completely. You can see the left side of it does overhang at the top, but that's okay because that last little, I guess, panel on the skirt gets covered anyway. So you're going to end up seeing the entire pattern on the skirt. There's also going to be a ton of fold lines, so most of this pattern you're not even going to see. But I really liked how this ended up looking. I think this would be really pretty as just a normal card background as well. So I kept it in. And here's the second layer. This is the snowy background. And both of these stencils are separate, but you can use them together like I'm doing here. And through this, I am using Versamark ink and a finger dauber. Again, I am just going to move that over to the right side and continue the pattern. And I am going right over those snowflakes. And I will pour white embossing powder over this. And it's going to be a little bit difficult to see because it's such a light background. But off camera, I'll heat set it and you'll see the pattern a little bit better. Now I didn't blend through the stencil perfectly. Some areas I missed with my finger dauber, and because the ink is clear, I couldn't see it. But that's totally fine because like I said, the skirt's going to be die cut. It's going to be folded a bunch of times. You won't even really see the pattern when it's all said and done. But I am going to add to that, I guess, messy look by adding some ink splatter using tumbled glass distress oxide ink and a little bit of water. And I'll also add Gonzai Tombi pearlescent watercolor splatters. You can also see where those 2 stencils were shifted, that there's some excess powder there. Again, I'm not too concerned just because I know this is going to be die cut and folded a bunch of times. So here's that iridescent watercolor I'm just flicking on with a paintbrush. And here I'll tilt it in the light so you can see that shine a little bit better. I just think that ended up looking really pretty. I'm happy with that. And here's the red version I made. I stenciled the snowflake background with a maroon color, and then the starry stencil, I used gold embossing powder, and then I speckled the maroon color again with water, and then also some gold pearlescent watercolor. So now we're back to the blue. I'm focusing completely on the blue, white, and silver color scheme for my video today. I just thought I would show you that because I think that turned out to be a really pretty background, and I'd love to use that also just on regular flat cards. So I went ahead and die cut my angel skirt twice from that paper we made, and now I'm just reinforcing the score lines on the skirt. And there are score lines that even go through those cutouts. So I'm taking my time here and just reinforcing each one before I go back and forth and do my accordion fold. Now with this angel, you can create two different skirts. This one I am doing the accordion fold, and it's going to look a little more fluffy. And then the second one I'll show you, I only use one skirt and I glue it like a cone. So I don't even reinforce the score lines. I keep it completely straight. So you'll see that in my next example. But here you can see with my skirt, I am just folding up, flipping around, folding up, flipping around, folding up, flipping around, all the way till I get to the end. And here, if you want to close this one off, I wanted to point out that this is how you can create a Christmas tree with the skirt. So I'm going to do the same thing with the second piece here. Folding up, turning it around, folding it up again, flipping it around, folding up, so that I can create those mountain and valleys. And then we're just going to glue these back to back. Now, here I glued it wrong, so don't do this, but I left it in because I actually messed up a couple times in this video. But here you can see I just lined up the ends together and glued them back to back. What I should have done instead is fold them in like I'm doing here and fold the outside pieces together, but folding them inside the, I guess, skirt. So I did that side correctly. I'm going to go back to the other side and fix that. Luckily the glue didn't dry all the way, so I was able to carefully redo that piece. So this time I'm folding each end in, adding glue to the outside, and then just taping those or gluing those together. And that creates the little skirt. It also looks like a tree, so if you want to add a star to the top and then just add your ribbon through before you close it, you can do that. But we're going to make this into an angel. So I did paper piece her head piece. So I cut the entire head from white cardstock, but I wanted her crown to be silver, or her halo. So I just freehand cut the halo with my scissors, glued it on top of my white base, and then the shadow I die cut from vellum cardstock. So on this example, I decided to glue her head first, but I would actually suggest gluing her wings first. So you'll see that in my next example. This ended up being fine. It was just a little bit fiddly. So there I just added her head right to the top. So don't worry if the point of your skirt is not perfect. In fact, I know some of my designers cut the point off altogether because it's a very sharp point. It doesn't matter because the head is going to be glued at the top, or if you're going to do a star, you'll add that for the top of the tree. And so I'm doing 2 layers of white wings so that they're a little more heavy. And then my shadow I die cut from vellum cardstock. And I'm going to embellish these wings with some blue crystal gems. And this is the same bag I used for the light blue snowflakes I made in my snowflake video. So I have created at this point 4 or 5 ornaments with the same bag of embellishments, and I am not even halfway through with them. So there's really a lot of gems packed into these bags. This particular mix had some light blue crystals, which those are what I am picking out for the wings. And there's also silver gems, which I'm going to use on my North Star. So I just picked some random areas to add some of these gems. There is a pattern on the wings, so I just followed that pattern, adding my gems in certain spots. And I lay a couple dots of glue onto the wing, you can see here, and I pick up the gems with the needle that I use to declog my glue. And when you place it on the blob of glue, it'll detach very easily. So if you don't have like a picker-upper tool, that works very well. Now to attach the wing, I decided to cut a little slit on the side. I kind of just followed the center of one of the valleys. And then as you can see, you can just slide that wing right into the slit. If you want, you can just glue the wing to the back of the skirt. But I kind of like it this way because it doesn't bend forward. It kind of stays straight up, if that makes sense. It doesn't lean against the angel's head. So I'm going to do the same thing with the left wing. I just cut a slit. I added glue to the wing and also inside the slit. And I just set that aside to completely dry. There's really not a lot of glue holding those wings together, so you don't want to really mess with this until it's fully dry. So I set that aside. I worked on my red angel for my TikTok video, and now I'm coming back to it. I'm going to add the string at the top, and I just used some silver and white twine, created a loop, and then I actually just kind of jam this into the tip of the skirt. So you can see I added a glob of glue, and then with my poker tool I just stuck that right inside the skirt, and then I'll add some more glue at the top just to make sure that that's going to nicely stick. And again, I'm going to set this aside to completely dry. But once it dries, you can add it to a gift box like I did here, and it doubles as a tag and an ornament, which I love. So now I'm going to create the other skirt option for the angel, and this one I just die cut one skirt piece from heavyweight white cardstock, and I'm just going to add whatever blue is left on my blender brush, kind of fading it from the bottom of the skirt and letting it fade into white at the top. I'm going to do the same thing with the wings, which again I also cut from heavyweight white cardstock. This time I cut the shadow of the wing from silver glitter. So through those holes that are die cut in the wings, you're going to see some really pretty silver shine. And now I'm just kind of rolling this skirt in my hands, just pulling it or pushing it gently back and forth until I get a rounded cone. And then again, you're going to just fold in those ends together inside the skirt, and that's going to create your cone-shaped skirt. Again, this could also be a more modern tree if you like. But this one's obviously a lot easier. You don't have to worry about the accordion folds. And honestly, I like this design just as much as the fluffy skirt. Let me know which one you guys like more. And then I'll go ahead and glue my wings to my shadows. And if you're wondering, this angel is A7 sized. So she's quite large and will look fantastic on your Christmas trees. So this time I'm paper piecing her halo again, but I want the shadow to be a different color. So I die cut the halo shadow from silver glitter, and then the base of the shadow itself from white. And then I'm going to glue the headpiece on top, and I just die cut that from silver mirror cardstock. All right, and then this skirt, I decided to embellish it with this mix of white pearls, and then there's also silver and gray pearls in there. I'm going to use the silver and the white together. And again, I'm just creating a little pattern, following the pattern that's already on the skirt. I added 2 small pearls and then 1 large one in the center. And I did not go all the way around this skirt. If you want to, you can glue another angel to the back of these. And now, I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I wish I did that, because Desiree just posted a video today, and actually our angels look very similar. We went with a similar color scheme, and she did an angel on the front and the back, which makes sense if this is an ornament and it could possibly spin. You would want to see an angel from both sides. So that's something I should have done, and that's something I'll mention. But in this case, because I had the mindset that I was only going to have a front-facing angel, I didn't go all the way around with my pearls. All right, so I'm cutting my slits now on each side. Again, I'm doing this before I glue the head. It's just a little bit easier. And I'm also just adding a ton of glue to each slit, making it a little bit deeper. I want these to be further down. And then I'm just going to hold each wing for just a couple seconds. And then again, let that dry on its own just for a couple minutes. I'll do the same thing with the right wing. Just slide it right through that slit. I was having a little bit of trouble there because the glue was already drying and closing the slit. So I just reopened it, and I'm going to hold that down for a little bit of time, and then I'll go ahead, after a couple minutes, glue the head down. And then that pretty much completes the second angel. I am going to add a loop to this with the same silver and white twine, and you can see I cut another base shadow for the angel's head, and I'm going to sandwich my loop this time. Instead of poking it through the hole, because the hole isn't as tight as my last one, I decided to just glue my loop to the back. I am still going to stick it into the hole, but I'm also going to add some tape right where the angel's head is, so that that's nicely secure. And then I'm going to hide the tape by gluing another head shadow piece. And this is where you could decorate the back ornament or the back angel the same way. All the wings are symmetrical, the hair is symmetrical, so you can definitely do that. All right, so I did cut it a couple times, but I was mainly just using that to cover that tape. All right, so here it is hanging, and I have more pictures of these ornaments / tags on my Instagram, so definitely check those out. All right, here is a picture. And now we're going to do the North Star. Again, using whatever ink is left on my blender brush, I'm just going to blend this blue color in the center of the main base piece that's included in the North Star die set. You're going to want to have 2 of these. And if you want, you can do the blending on the front and back of these. But I thought it would be cool to have the back side completely white and the front be a little more blue. So I opted to just blend the front pieces. And then what you're going to do is cut these 4 cut lines that are already there. You just have to snip the ends. Again, it's another manufacturing reason as to why those aren't fully cut. And then you're going to reinforce those score lines before we start doing anything. This is really helpful to kind of train those score lines to go in the direction you want them to go later. So I'm folding them up and down, just breaking the bonds of that paper so it'll be easier for me to glue everything together. And then what you're going to do on each corner of the star, you're just going to pinch in. So you can see naturally that each point of the star is raising upwards. Then you're going to add your double-sided tape and do as I say, not as you see, if that makes sense. I am adding tape to the front of one of these triangles and then pinching in that center again and overlapping the other one on top. But what ends up happening here is there is still some tape that's being shown or exposed. So I will show you the correct way to do this, but for now, I'll just finish this up. I didn't think of it at the time, and I didn't even realize the tape was exposed until I started adding my detail pieces on top. But here I have my tape I'm adding to one triangle on the back side, and then I pinch the point together to kind of pop up that center on the front, and then overlap the tape with the second piece to attach it together. So here I'm adding another strip of tape on one of those two triangles. It doesn't matter which one as long as one is being overlapped by the other. And then I just pinch in the center again so that the point puffs out in the front. And then I'll do the same thing for that last piece. Going to add some tape. Now, what you should be doing is adding tape on the back side of these triangles. You can see I'm adding tape to the front. It works, it tapes it together the exact same way, but like I said, you're going to see a little bit of exposed adhesive in areas you might not want to see it. So I'll show you the correct way to do it. But as you can see, the North Star includes these lace panels that you can just glue on top. I thought I was going to do blue on blue. I didn't like that, so I recut these from silver glitter cardstock. And I'm keeping some of the center pieces of the lace, which I'll show you in a second. So here's my red North Star. Again, I'm snipping off those 4 cut lines that are already there, and then reinforcing the score lines before I start adhering anything together. And here's an example where I used lightweight cardstock, and it was actually easier to put this one together. However, it's not as sturdy, so it's kind of up to you. It might be good to practice on a lighter weight one first before committing to a heavier weight. But here you can see I added my tape instead on the inside of the triangles so that when I overlap them, that adhesive will be completely covered by the other triangle beneath it. So again, I'm just going to add tape to one of the 2 triangles, pinch them together to kind of puff up that point on the front side, then just overlap them on the back. And out of all the ornaments I have brought out, this one is definitely the most easiest. And depending on how tightly you pinch those points, you'll get different dimensions. So you can pinch them all the way so that those triangles completely cover each other, and then it'll be super puffy. I kind of went for like 2/3 of the way or 3/4 of the way maybe. So you definitely have to experiment on what you prefer. But now I'm just decorating the front of these with the different lace panels included in the die set. And you can see I kept those inner squiggles, I guess, the inner lace piece that's in the center. There's one long piece. I kept that one to decorate the outer edges of my star, which you'll see. So as I mentioned, I did bring out a couple different ornament designs in my last collection, and I have 2 more to show you. I want to make those 2 out of felt. So though that last video will come out probably in November when I put my tree up and I want to make another garland for my tree. But those snowflakes utilize the small and large base ornament die that we brought out in the retro Christmas card kit. And if you haven't seen my snowflake video, I have snowflake ornaments. And those ones I will say are the most challenging, but they are my favorite out of the entire bundle. If you want all the ornaments, there is a 5% off bundle if you buy all of them, and they're really fun. They're definitely the most popular sets from the newest release, and I will definitely bring out more ornament dies in future Christmas collections. So now I'm going to cover up that hole with a small, just freehand cut square. And you don't want this to cover, I mean, you want it to cover the hole, but you don't want it to exceed past those points very far. So you can see I'm just going to cut off the excess, and you can still see part of that hole in areas, and it's fine. It's just going to give me some more surface area to attach these back to back. And you're just going to offset them to create that beautiful North Star. And here I just use glue. I end up just taking this right off because I really need strong double-sided tape to ensure that this will not fall off, because by the time you embellish these with the panels and they're fully popped up, they are pretty heavy. So you can see it's already coming off. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that it's coming off by adding my loop, because I completely forgot to do that. And you can add your loop in one of the points of the star or in the center of the star, you know, joining them together, which is what I'm doing. But my mom made her ornaments where the string was coming from one point of the star, and I like that better because it kind of keeps the star pointing in the direction you want it to go, if that makes sense. So I would suggest doing that. So instead of, you know, gluing those two triangles overlapping each other, before you tape them together, just stick a loop for your ornament string and then close those triangles up. But here this works just fine. I just added my loop to the center. I did add my strong double-sided tape this time. And again, I'm just going to give this a couple minutes to fully dry because I used a combination of double-sided tape and liquid glue here. So I came back to it, and now I'm just going to decorate these outer corners. And this is where I realized that I had that exposed tape. So luckily, most of it was covered by these little lace pieces that I'm adding. And again, these come from the lace triangles. I just kept that main piece of it to decorate these outer ones. And I love that the front of the North Star is more blue and the back is completely white. I think that's super pretty, and it matches very well with the two angels I made. And again, to cover up the rest of that exposed adhesive as much as I can, I'm going to embellish. Embellishing always seems to save projects that might be going not the way you want them to go. But the red star I made, I did not add any more embellishments. I just added the swirls, and because I glued it the right way, I didn't have any exposed adhesive, and it didn't need any gems. But I do think that the gems added a really pretty sparkle to this ornament, and it definitely catches the light very pretty. And here I use the light blue gems as well as the silver gems. And that completes my North Star ornaments. So let me know which one is your favorite. Here I'm going to pull in my red designs, but here you can see it spins really pretty. If you want, you can add a little to and from tag from the string loop. Here it is on a wrapped up gift. And then here's the red one I made. I just think these are stunning. And they're very quick and simple to put together. You can make a bunch of these if you want. Here are my two angels that we made in the video. And then I'll pull in my red angel, which ended up being my favorite. I honestly thought I was going to like the more frosty angels, but this one just looks so regal. And here it is on a gift box. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. As always, I will have all the products I used linked down below as well. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye!